lost everything in Hurricane Katrina is looking back as the second anniversary of that storm approaches. Jazz pianist, singer, and songwriter Monica Dillon recalls the man-made disaster in the wake of Katrina in her latest release, When the Levee Broke.
People's lives were just changed overnight. Not to mention the trauma that people are still experiencing.
An experience that continues to flood the mind of musician Monica Dillon as she musically weaves those raw emotions laid bare for the world to see as New Orleanians struggled to survive.
When the levee broke, my kinfolk scattered 1,000 ways. When the levee broke, my kinfolk, I didn't hear from them for days. Didn't sleep at night, something wasn't right. My heart was so heavy when the levee broke.
I really feel like it was channeled on some level, you know. And every time I sing it, someone says something to me about how it just took them there, and they understood what it was to be in a country where they thought they were covered in some way, where they thought that they mattered, and to understand what that pain feels like, and to understand traumatic stress, really, and that trauma and pain isn't something that just goes away. And perhaps we can find ways to deal with that trauma, because everyone experienced it, whether they were watching TV or whether they were here at different levels. How do we deal with trauma? How do we deal with loss and grief? All of those things that we had to deal with. I feel like now I'm just starting to grieve, and it's 2 years later.
For Dillon, looking back is a major step in the healing process.
I wonder if people are just wanting to forget it, put it behind them and keep going, or if people want to revisit, you know, what happened and figure out how we can heal, because it's really about healing. You know, we don't have to stay in the minutia of the pain, but how do we heal it? How do we transform it? I don't think we can heal unless we look back. You know, I believe in staying in the present. But in the present, there has to be some recognition and some sort of acknowledgement of what you're feeling, you know. That impacts everything you do.
Life in New Orleans is challenging right now, and through song, Dillon is keeping open a dialogue of collective experiences in the wake of the storm that she hopes will lead the way to positive changes in her vision of the new New Orleans.
I would like to see a New Orleans where people have living wages, where they have the ability to get decent education, an education that would prepare them for life. I would like to see communities that won't suffer from gentrification, where there's very rich moving out those that can't afford to live there anymore, where people can have decent housing, and that we can find ways to kind of heal some of the pain from Katrina, because there's still a lot of pain just around race and class from the storm and people's response to it.
Jazz pianist, singer, and songwriter Monica Dillon. Her latest song, When the Levee Broke, will be featured on her forthcoming CD, A Beautiful Life, to be released this fall. For more info, you can check the website monicadillon.com. For 89.9 WWNO, I'm Diane Mack.
When the levee broke, my kinfolk left with the shoes on their feet, and the only thing that they could say was a baby picture of me. When the levee broke, my kinfolk lost everything.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm John.